to this episode of The Good, the Bad, and the Odd. We're your hosts, Mark and Sam. Hi, Sam.
Hello there.
Right, so Daisy, and we are daisy chaining off of your choice, which is Broadcasting the Sundance Kid. I picked an actor from that called Strother Martin for another Western made only a couple of years, or no, actually the same time. The same time as Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, which is called True Grit. One of the westerns that were at the latter end of John Wayne's career. John Wayne had quite the western career, starting in the 30s. And he even made, I think his last film was a western called The Shootist in 71, before he died of cancer, which starred a very young Ron Howard, of all people. Okay. And he plays a man dying of cancer. And he was done. Interesting, right? Interesting. Anyway, before we got to that, and that was, I think, 77, 78. Before we got to that, there was True Grit. And this was the only film he won an Oscar for.
Okay.
So that's something, right? So made in 1969 by a director called Henry Hathaway, who I'm not familiar with. And John Wayne, Roaster Cogburn, Glenn Campbell, who's a country singer, not really an actor, interesting, as LaBeef, and Kim Darby as Maddie Ross. It was based on an 1868 novel called True Grit by Charles Portis, and I've read it. I've read that novel. This screenplay was written by Margaret Roberts, and Wayne won an Oscar as well. And there was also a sequel to this, which I've never seen, made in 1975, called Rooster Cogburn. Okay. Apparently, Cogburn was based on a real-life Deputy US Marshal called Heck Thomas, who was famous for bringing in the toughest and meanest outlaws. That's what that guy did. So, but we got an interesting cast here, right? We got Robert Duvall, who's got really something. Dennis Hopper. Interesting. Yeah. When did we last see him? Was it the Mario Brothers movie?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. And Jeff Corey, who I did also see in Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, and Strother Martin, who's our link. And the actual song at the beginning was sung by Glenn Campbell. And was Oscar nominated. Didn't win, but it was Oscar nominated. And there's been a remake of this. I don't know. Have you seen the remake of this?
I've not seen the remake, but I heard it was not as good.
No. And really, it's bizarre because it is a decent film. It's not as good as this one, I don't think. This one's way more entertaining. But there's an awful lot of dialogue the same because it was lifted straight from the book. I think the dialogue in the book is so good, they just lifted it. And it worked so well, they just lifted it. But it is a bit weird because Jeff Bridges plays it proper frontiersman speech. He reminds me a lot of, in Blazing Saddles where they introduce a guy who's talking genuine frontier gibberish. That guy. That guy. Jeff Bridges talks like that as Rooster Cogburn, so it's really starts to be off-putting, right? Anyway, okay, let's get into this. As an overview, I mean, I don't think we'll worry about spoilers. This is a film from over 50 years ago. How do you feel about it generally?
I quite liked it. I was surprised how little actual gunplay there was.
And it was really good when it happened and fast, isn't it? Yeah.
Because when you get this is Rooster Cogburn, he's the toughest lawman in the West. Yeah. We got Loif, he's like this excellent shot from Texas, and you know how they are in Texas. And then most of the actual problems get solved by Matty talking through it.
Yeah, all the guys, all Rooster Cogburn's knowledge of the territory and the people as well. Yeah. There's a lot of that. There's a lot of that too. But yeah, he knows people. He can say, that's Mexican Bob. The first one and things, he knows people and he knows everyone, right? So there is all that.
And everyone knows him.
Yeah, no,
everyone's got a chip on their shoulder about him. It's like, for fuck's sake, Rooster, what are you doing?
Yeah. Now, I'm gonna guess you haven't seen many John Wayne films.
No.
So this is, interestingly, John Wayne, I've sort of seen him in various phases, and this one, when I saw it, it was like, he's playing it a bit different. It's just like a grumpy old man kind of thing. But then, I mean, this is going back a bit. I saw another old Western or two with another old actor, and we're talking like late 30s, early 40s, an old actor called Wallace Beery. And when I saw Wallace Beery, I thought, Jesus Christ, he's like John Wayne, this guy. And I apparently read, I didn't know this, but I read in the Wikipedia about this film that John Wayne based his performance in this on Wallace Beery's way of working. So that's why Wallace Beery, because of this film, it was like they're so similar, and they even talk similar. I'll try and find a clip of Wallace Beery and show you it so you can see for yourself.
Yeah, I'm going to guess that a lot of actors did a similar thing there, because throughout the entire film, I was thinking, wow, John Wayne sounds like Baloo the Bear.
Yes, he does! Phil Harris, Baloo the Bear.
So I'm guessing, like, that guy, Beery, was, like, significant enough that a lot of actors based a lot of performances on it.
Yeah, or just started
trying to
like him.
impersonate him.
You know what? I think you're right. I think Wallace Beery may have influenced Baloo the Bear. Yeah, you are right. Phil Harris did the voice of Baloo the Bear.
Phil Harris's performances.
Yeah, you could have something there. Essentially, I enjoy this Western a lot. It's not like a classic, but I think it's a really entertaining, solid Sunday afternoon type of film. Right? Yeah. It's that kind of deal. So in this...
It's a good background watching, actually, because it's a lot of like, you can chip in, they've got him or not? No. Okay.
Yeah.
But like, it's a lot of like little sort of discussion scenes, like building like character relationships.
Yeah, but also interspersed with some really wonderful background shots of the countryside. Really marvellous.
Yeah, this is countryside. Very much scenery porn.
Yeah. Really, really nice. I like how it starts. Basically, it starts with we get Kim Darby sort of set up as the young man. Now, she in the book and the remake, she's more like 13, but really self-aware, very self-assured. Very much how she is in this film.
She's 15 in this.
Oh, is she? Oh, she acts more I thought she was more like 20. So she's 15 in this. Okay. Yeah. Well, she's meant to be 15. She looks older than 15. But she's very self-assured, and I quite like that. And she takes control of the business when her father's not around. Her mother isn't very good, but she's very capable, and she does.
She's basically their accountant.
Yeah.
Like, even when her father's there, so.
And she will not let anything slip, will she?
No.
She's her character's great.
That poor like horse salesman.
The horse salesman, that's hilarious. Trevor Martin again, yeah, but it's like everything. She speaks her mind and she's direct. And basically her father's going to buy ponies to sort of trade or breed. And he goes off with this psychic Tom Chaney, who Matty Ross does not like. Immediately, that's established. She does not like him. She thinks he's a wastrel. And it turns out that the father and Tom Chaney go into like a saloon. Tom Chaney's drunk, loses money at cards, insists on going back with a rifle to get his money back. The father stops him, but he shoots the father. He's a drunken lout, basically. Yeah. Kills the father and
takes the money, runs off with the ponies.
Yeah. No, he doesn't. The ponies are still there.
No, the ponies are still there.
Yeah. Just takes the money and stuff like that. Meanwhile, Matty goes there to sort of collect his body with, someone else from the ranch, an old fella from the ranch. And she turns up in town. There's a public hanging, which is like a holiday. Everyone's
everyone's out there like selling food.
Selling peanuts. The young boy selling peanuts, and it's like everyone's. And even when she goes to the Undertaker, it's closed because they've gone to the hanging. So she has to wait for them to come back anyway. So she decides she's going to go to the hanging anyway, because the bloke with her wants to go to the hanging, and there's 3 blokes getting hung. And it's fairly vivid, and it's kind of an interesting film because it feels quite a lot like a family film, but there's these little bits like a public hanging.
Yeah, like the entire time Matty's talking about horrible things, it's in the same tone of voice as Dorothy in Wizard of Oz.
She does that same sort of bitch. And she looks a bit like her too, doesn't
we
she?
Got to go to Munchkin Land. I'm going to go hunt down the killer of my father.
Yeah, and then she goes to the sheriff and says, "What are you doing about it?" You know, he goes, "Well, he's moved out of his territory. It's no longer my jurisdiction." She goes, "Well, whose jurisdiction is it?" He goes, "The U.S. Marshals." And she goes, "Who's the U.S. Marshals?" And he goes, "Well, Rooster Cogburst's the meanest, but the fairest is this one, and the best shot is this one." And she goes, "No, Rooster Cog. She wants the meanest, right? She does, because he's the one that brought those guys in that got hung, I think, as well."
And they also show him it's like, okay, Rooster will be showing up later on with all his his recent catches. Yeah, and he wheels 10 guys
in a cage, and she tries to talk to him, but he just shuts the door behind her. Yeah. And the sheriff's a reasonably nice player. He goes, yeah, if you want to catch him, he's in court tomorrow to see Judge Porter or something. Yeah. So you could probably catch him then. And we see a bit of courtroom testimony with Rooster. Yeah. And the lawyer's saying, "How many men have you shot?" He's going, 8. Do you mean killed or wounded? He goes, "Well, let's just stick to killed." He goes, "I don't know, 6 or 8. And in the end, he goes, "No, it was 23, right?" And he's been doing it 3 years. Yeah. So he's killed loads of people. He goes, "I didn't shoot anyone who didn't deserve it." That was his justification.
That's how he puts it. That's the end of it. So.
Yeah, and you see Rooster rail a bit later. He goes, "Yeah, this used to be a good place with a judge who knew his business, but now it's got these damn lawyers." It makes me laugh. Anyway, he's not that interested as she starts talking money.
Yeah.
And he goes, she offers him $50 to go hunt this guy down. And she's also at a boarding house, and it just made me laugh. The landlady's trying to be polite, saying, "Would you like more dumplings here?" And she goes, "I better have for my 25 cents.
Says,
"Oh, I thought you were eating them because you liked them." He goes, "No, 25 cents for a bit of flour and oil seems quite, I've got to get my money's worth." It's like that. And she's crossed the landlady.
I do love everyone just shits on this landlady.
Yeah.
When LaBeef shows up later, he's like, it's like what was it? He's like, "You're going to get charged as a felony for lying here." It's because you keep saying there's chicken in here and I can't find it.
And he has to take off his spurs as well when he turns up. So some chairs and all this, that, and the other. And he tries to talk. LaBeef turns up, he's a Texan, and he tries to talk to Matty, but she just ignores him.
Yeah, he's like, "So who are you?" And she goes, "I want to go to bed." So I'm like,
"Yeah, I'll go to bed." And she turns out she's got a share of an old lady. She goes, "Well, I assume that I'll be paying half my board then, if I'm sharing." She immediately cuts to the money. And then she has to go get some more money to pay Rooster.
Yeah, so she basically hustles the horse sales.
She absolutely wrecks him. She goes, "Those aren't the ponies you sold my father." He goes, "They are." She goes, "No, they're geldlings. My father bought ponies for breeding, So he was trying to put one over on her. Anyway, he ends up giving her all the money back just to stop her being annoying.
Yeah.
And then she says, "What are you going to do with the pony?" He goes, I'm selling them. There's a glue factory, $10 a head. And then she goes back the next day and says, "I'll buy one of your horses off you." He goes, "So how much?" She goes, "Market price, $10.
Yeah.
And he goes, "What? I bought them off you for 25 yesterday." He goes, "That was the market price." It was
yeah.
And then she goes, "Well, I'll tell you what, I'll give you $12, but I want it shoed. I don't want a horse without shoes," or something like that. Anyway, and it's little Blackie. She adopts his horse, and she's very fond of it. Meanwhile, we find out LaBeef is also after this Cheney who went who shot a senator, and there's a free $2,000, which also interests Cogburn. But doesn't he talk to Matty first, and she's not interested, but he then goes directly to talk to Rooster.
He's like, "I hear you're chasing after a guy you call Tom Cheney."
Yeah.
Like, yeah? It's like, "Well, I know him as this guy, and he killed a senator, so I'm after him. You want help?" And she's like, "No, I've got help with Rooster Cogburn." She's immediately throwing names around.
Yeah.
I have not agreed to help her in any way.
Yeah, she's so confident. I did like one bit where they talk about Rooster's making a point about it. He goes to Matty, "See that rat?" He goes, "Mr. Rat, I'm serving a paper on you. If you keep eating this corn, I'm going to take you in. He goes, see, the rat don't listen. And then he just shoots the rat.
Yeah.
He goes, that's what you got to do to a rat. You know? And it's funny that Matty then picks
it up and goes over to the cat and is like, this is your job.
Yeah, the cat's called General Sterling Price. But Rooster's basically kipping down with a Chinese storm owner, Hung Lee or something, and the cat General Sterling Price. We should have mentioned Rooster Cogburn got one eye. He's got an eye patch. John Wayne really wanted this part. Apparently, he petitioned a woman, the scriptwriter, to play Rooster. He really wanted it. Which is, I didn't know he was that kind of actor. I thought he just took what he came, you know?
Yeah.
But no, he really wanted it. But he really wasn't happy about the eye patch. Say again?
People are like competing to get him in films.
Yeah, but no, he really wanted to do this. And but the eye patch was the one thing he had a problem with. But they set up Ghoul so he could actually see through the patch. So he could see through it, so that was all right. But apparently a lot of his own riding and stuff with horses, he did it all himself. Because he was a horse rider, a competent horse rider. Yeah. The jump at the end, apparently he did. He insisted on doing. So they left it as the very final shot scene in case it went horribly wrong.
Wow.
Having said that, I'm not sure it is. The mid shot doesn't really look like him, but
especially when they hold on it for the credits.
Yeah, but apparently he did jump that 4-bar gate with a horse. So how about that? So basically, there's a lot. I like the fact that everyone argues all the time in this film. There's no cooperate. They basically argue and then they just cooperate.
Bickering. And then, like, Matty at some point will bring up her lawyer, and then
a lawyer,
Rooster and LaBeef, who comes along for the ride, basically just take the piss out of her for it.
Yeah.
It's like, man, you draw that name like a gun, huh?
Yeah. She even starts mentioning the lawyer.
Like, shove her away.
Yeah. So essentially, we find out Tom Chaney's holed up with another guy called Ned Pepper, Lucky Ned Pepper, who's more of an outlaw, who's been stealing, robbing banks and stuff. And that's the one that Rooster's kind of most after, actually, because there's a reward for him. But he's, I want to get Tom Chaney too. And basically, there's all these big rewards around this guy, so that sort of helps. Anyway, they go off, but they want to leave Matty behind. They basically want to go ahead, and she says, "No, I've paid my $25." Also, at one point, before they even leave, and it takes a good hour before they actually leave off into it. She gets annoyed at Rooster because she feels he's breaking the deal with. And she goes, "I want my $25 back," and he goes, "I've spent it." And she's like, "Rooster, you low down trash." She's haranguing these hardened sort of outdoorsmen. It's very funny. So anyway, she says, I'll do the job, don't you worry. And they leave, but they refuse to take her. At one point, they get to a ferry boat, don't they, across the river, and they flat out just refuse to take her and sort of say, "Oh, she's a runaway. Take her back to the sheriff will give you." And he goes, "You liars!" and all this. Anyway, the ferryman starts him off, and then he's about to take her, and he goes, "Oh, I'm just adjusting my hat." She hits him in the face with that, and then rides off.
Yeah, she skull caps him with the hat. And
yeah.
Then just crosses the river on the horse.
Yeah, swims across on the horse. And the Rooster Cogburn laughs at this and goes, "You know what? She reminds me of me." And LaBeouf says, "Well, we ain't going to get along, are we?" And they're still, even when she gets over, they sort of say, "No, you're not coming." And LaBeouf knocks her off her horse and starts hitting her with a switch. Her. Yeah, which is, again, maybe for a younger character, it was a bit weird. But Rooster's like, "Stop that, you're enjoying it too much."
Yeah.
And he goes, "I'll stop when I want." And Rooster's all together goes, "It'll be the biggest mistake you'll ever make."
Yeah.
We should also mention Maddie's got her own gun, but it's a massive revolver. It's really big.
Yeah, it's
ridiculously
huge.
Big. It's
to the point where, in a plot point later on, she gets launched backwards by the from it.
And she offers it to Rooster at one point, and he goes, "Yeah, if I want to go hunting bison, I'll take this with me."
Yeah. He says bison or elephants?
Elephants, yeah. So essentially, they go off into Indian territory. Now, I always wondered if they were going to meet Indians in this film, but they don't. They're just in that territory, right? And they find a little. Basically, Rooster's heading for a dugout, isn't he? Sorry, a little hole where he knows they can stay. But there's people there, and it's two young blokes, played by Dennis Hopper and another bloke. Dennis Hopper's the younger one. I think he's called Moon. Dennis Hopper's, what's it? And they're basically the Rooster and LaBeouf and those two figure out there's more horses than they need, so they're fresh horses, so they're probably waiting for Pepper, right? That's sort of thing. And they smoke them out. They basically
literally smoke them out.
Yeah, they literally do that. LaBeouf puts a coat over the chimney, and they come running out. And Cogburn says, "I've got 5 marshals here. If you don't come out in 10, we'll be pouring coal oil down the chimney," which means they're going to burn to death, right?
Yeah.
That's basically the threat. Essentially, one comes out shooting but coughing, and
Rooster pops.
Yeah, I love the fact he's got a Winchester and he's just firing from the hip.
Yeah.
And he's not even bothering to aim.
Yeah. How much of that is like, that's just him being a badass, and how much is like John Wayne probably couldn't be bothered to lift it higher?
Or maybe
apparently John Wayne was a real pain in the ass, according to the other actors.
Oh, right. I think he got
Dennis
on
Hopper.
Sorry,
Dennis Hopper has said that apparently there was a day, because Dennis Hopper was a hippie at the time.
Yes.
And John Wayne had a lot of beef with hippies. And apparently he would just come and, like, any problem with his day, he'd try and take it out on Hopper. He's like, I'm going to beat the shit out of him. Chasing around. There was apparently a day where he refused to come to set because he saw a white powder on Dennis Hopper's, like, clothes. And he was like, yeah, this fucking hippie's been doing drugs on my set. I'm not being part of this.
I didn't know any of this.
It was powdered sugar from a donut.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah, because I thought cocaine came, or maybe heroin, I suppose, came where heroin was around in the 60s. I'm not sure about cocaine. Anyway, it probably was. I don't know. Okay, so essentially there's a big to-do. And because Moon's been shot and his leg's bleeding out, basically Rooster's saying, oh, well, if you don't tell me soon, it's going to be 3 days to what's it, and your leg will have to come off by then.
Yeah.
But if you tell me stuff, I can maybe do this. There's all this. But the other guys go, don't you say nothing. But bizarrely, they give LaBeouf shot a turkey. They give the annoyed guy the turkey to pluck, but they also give him a big knife to cut it up. And
is apparently the turkey was so badly shot that it's kind of unusable, and Rooster keeps just talking shit.
Yeah, they keep going about LaBeouf. Yeah, LaBeouf had to shoot with a shotgun.
That's just a Texan shot for you.
Yeah, it's very funny. Anyway, what happens is Moon gets stabbed because he starts to blab. He says, "Yeah, Pepper's coming here," and he gets stabbed by the other guy who John Wayne just shoots, and he actually says, he's done for your son, but I've done for him. He goes, if you're going to tell us something, if you want to clink it, tell us now. And he also says, can you send any money I got to my brother and all this, that, and the other? And he tells him a bit more and he dies. And then Rooster Cogbur's going, oh, yeah, we'll have to. And Matty reminds him, no, you're sending money to his brother. We're not.
Yeah.
And he's going, oh, yeah. There's all that.
Yeah, but there's a bit just before that where Ned turns up. Ned Pepper shows up for his horses, and what's his name? Cheney's there. So there's a brief shootout.
Yeah, which is stupid because it's only Ned Pepper just shoots a gun in the air to indicate they're there. And LaBeouf immediately starts shooting at him.
Yeah.
Which is... John Wayne goes, oh, that Texan idiot kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so a big shooter. But they get away. Apart from one bloke...
Two blokes get dropped, but LaBeouf could only shoot the horses. He's not...
Yeah, he keeps shooting the horses.
Missing and hitting the horses.
He's hit his horse. It did make me laugh that they actually shot Mexican Bob.
Yeah.
But later on, he's probably fine. And they said, but we shot you. And he says, the injury's on the inside. He says something like
that.
That made me laugh quite a bit. So they go. So they got some dead bodies. They go back.
Yeah, they
and
go
sort of
back. They
that.
flog the everything.
And that's where Matty reminds him he was going to send money to his brother, right? Yeah. And then again, Cogburn sort of says to Matty, "You should stay here, man. This is this is going to be a hard ride now." And at one point, she actually says, "Is it dinner time?" He goes, "Dinner's coming and going on this journey, sister, little sis," and all this kind of stuff. Anyway, they
I feel like that he could just call her little sister.
Yeah. So they're in pursuit. LaBeouf's moaning about having a campfire when they're getting near to their territory prey, and Rooster's like,
Rooster starts drinking,
properly pissed up. He falls off his horse at one point, doesn't he? And then he says, "We're camping here for the night."
Yeah.
And Matty tries to tell him a funny story, and he goes, "Yeah, go on." And he goes, "If you stop drinking," he goes, "That ain't no kind of a deal." He says, but he does actually reluctantly stop drinking at one point, doesn't he?
Yeah.
You see him put the bottle away. Anyway, she goes off. She wants to use the water to wash. They're saying, "No, water's that ain't for washing."
Yeah.
On the trip like this, and I think LaBeouf mentions there might be a creek down the side, and she goes down there and falls down this.
Yeah, she slips and slides straight into Tom Chaney.
So she pulls out the massive gun she got because she carries it everywhere.
Here's where she goes a bit mental.
Yeah,
like she's like, "I'm gonna kill you, Tom Chaney."
Yeah, she does. And he don't believe it, but she does get him in the side, right? She shoots
she catches him.
She shot me. He can't believe.
And then everyone turns up. Rooster and LaBeouf start charging down the hill. Ned Pepper and his gang run up, and it's like, what the fuck is that? Is that a little girl?
Yeah. And they're like, they basically take her hostage. Because her gun misfires, doesn't it, as well at one point. So they get him, and they threaten to kill her if
Rooster comes any closer.
It basically says you got to give her 6 hours or something. And Rooster's going, "She's no mind to me. You shoot her if you have to," and all this kind of stuff. Anyway, they do ride off in the end, and Rooster has to signal by gunfire at the top of the hill and Pepper responds, and this is Robert Duvall. He's pretty good in this.
Yeah.
And old Matty gets really annoyed, doesn't she? She's kind of he's got no grit at all. I thought he had grit. He's got no grit at all. This
yeah, she keeps going like, "I needed a man with true grit."
Yeah,
Shut up, Matty.
But that LaBeouf and Cogburn go back, don't they? Meanwhile, they leave Matty and Chaney while they go get fresh horses.
They're going to leave. They're just leaving so they can get supplies, but they've only got 4 horses and 5 people, so they leave Chaney behind.
They tell you, and he's saying, "Can you?" Oh, there's also one of the characters is just going, "Can't go down there," and all this kind of stuff. It's a bit weird. And they leave him, and he goes, and then Chaney's not convinced, but he's injured. He can't really do much, but he's watching Matty, isn't he? What happens then? The beef turns up, right?
The beef turns up and has a brief scuffle with Cheval.
Yeah.
Chaney. And again, people's names are all mixed up here. But Chaney hits him in the head with a massive rock, and it puts him out. Meanwhile, Ned Pepper and the gang run into Rooster, who's just stood there.
This is my favourite bit in the film.
It's like, "You're not passing."
And I've never seen another gunfight like this, I have to say. Basically, Rooster on his horse, one side of a field, 4 blokes on the other side, and he's saying things like, "You two, don't your brother. I've got no beef with you. You stand to one side.
You stay out of this. It's just me, Pepper." He goes, "There's 4 of us and 1 of you, you fat old lawman."
No, what he says is, "That's a lot of big talk for a one-eyed fat man." And he just looks affronted and he goes, "Fill your hands, you son of a bitch."
And he's holding a Winchester. He takes the reins of his horse and puts them in his mouth.
Yeah.
Draws his pistol and starts going down the hill at him.
Yeah. So he's got a Winchester in one hand and a revolver in the other. And you see him cocking the Winchester by spinning it around as he's shooting. It's amazing. It's amazing. And he just rides through them and they ride past him. And as he go past, he shoots one of them in the back and he's shooting another one.
He gets two of them, I think.
One just rides off.
Yeah, one just goes. There's just him and I think Pepper shoots his horse.
Pepper's injured in the arm.
Yeah, Pepper's been shot but not been put down.
Yeah.
He's able to shoot Rooster's horse, which drops on his leg, so he's pinned.
Yeah.
And then LaBeef makes like a mile-long shot with his rifle and takes out Pepper.
He does. That's a hell of a shot, right? But also, it has to be said, when Rooster's doing all this, and old Matt is going, there's a man with true grit. So she's telling him, no grit, not half, and all this kind of stuff. Meanwhile, there's still shenanigans going up. Matty again shoots Cheney, doesn't she?
Yeah, she shoots Cheney, and I think she
knocks her into the rattler pit.
Yeah, it launches her backwards into what they described briefly as a pit. Is actually a fucking hole to the center of the earth.
It's quite deep. It's got skeletons in, and it's got rattlers in.
Yeah, they're like, oh yeah, it's a rattlesnake pit, and it's like a cavern. You'd fight orcs in there.
Yeah, it's quite big. So she's broke her arm in the fall as well, and there's also she's trying to keep the rattlesnake away by beating it with a switch, right?
She just grabs like a branch and starts like swinging it at the snake.
Yeah.
But it eventually gets her.
I should have mentioned LaBeef has also got mortally wounded, hasn't he?
Yeah, Cheney hits him in the head with a rock after he makes the shot that kills Pepper.
Yeah, so he's in a really bad way, but he
is on the floor just bleeding from the scalp.
Yeah, but
and it's not in like a he's been knocked out kind of way. He's like sort of half dragging himself.
He's
by inch.
Yeah, he's broken his skull. Basically.
Yeah, he's caved his head in.
Yeah. So Cogburn manages to get up there again and kills Cheney. He goes into the pit too, doesn't he? But he's dead. But then he realised Matt is down there, and he gets a rope and just goes down.
He ties it around her, I think, and drops down.
But the rattler's bites her just before he shoots the rattler. He tries to shoot the rattler, misses. The rattler gets her. And he gets the rattler, but she's been poisoned.
And he's like trying to figure out how to get her out quickly enough. And he's like, where the hell is that Texan? When you try and get help, they're dead.
And LaBeef does actually
he drags himself back. He's like, shut the hell up.
I'm not dead yet, but he does die, doesn't he? He does die. So they managed to get her out, but of course she's been poisoned. He does a bit of, he cuts her arm and sucks some of the poison out, I think. But he has to get her to proper medical attention. Basically, the only horse left is Little Pony, Little Blackie. He starts to ride it really hard, and she's going, no, you're killing me. He goes, better him than you, little sister, and all this.
Yeah.
And he manages to get, the horse does drop dead of exhaustion, but he manages to basically hold up these guys with a wagon and get a wagon and take her to safety where she gets medical treatment.
Yeah, and he just heads home after he drops her off.
Heads home. Yeah. So then her lawyer,
the lawyer shows up.
Turns up, little mousy bloke. And he goes, wow, Rooster's impressed. Or he fades.
Oh, the famous Daggett.
Yeah. So basically, he gets paid and stuff like that. And doesn't the lawyer say that's where 200 for saving her life? And he goes, that's if she saves it. And Rooster says to the lawyer, I bet you 200 she makes it. And the lawyer's like, oh, no.
No, it's like 200 and that cat.
Yeah.
Like just a weird extra bit.
Yeah. And then we see Matty back home. And then the film that's the end of the film. LaBeef has died.
In effect, the story.
Yeah. But Matty is back home and it's snowy and she's her arm's in a sling, so she's okay. But Cogburn comes to visit her and it's a very sweet scene. He basically says, I want you to... He goes, I'm going to be here and my ma's going to be there and my brother and his family are going to be over there. And she's just so Rooster. And he goes, it's very comforting to know where you're going to spend the afterlife. And she says to Rooster, and I want you to have this one next to me. He goes, nah, that ain't right. That should be for your family. and she says, "But you have no one. I don't want you sort of lying somewhere under a bush." And he goes, "Well, I might just take you up on that, but not too soon, Missy." Yeah. And he talks about what he's doing. He's got a new horse because his other one got shot. And she says, "The guy that sold me it says it could jump a 4-bar gate." He goes, "Don't, you're too old and fat to be jumping 4-bar gates." He goes, "Oh, am I?" And he goes,
and he sort of rides around and then leaps over.
And he comes back and he says, "Come visit an old fat man sometime." And it ends. A joyful film, quite dark in places, but quite a lot of fun.
Now, there was weirdly a lot of setup that I think, from what I've heard of the remake, delivered in there, actually.
Which is what?
So, there's the whole bit about where, like, he's interrogating the horse, like, rustlers.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Hey, you gotta get that treated quickly or it's gonna swell up and you're gonna lose it."
Yeah.
Now, so the guy know of the remake is there's, like, a flash forward and Mattie's lost her arm because of the snake bite.
Yeah, she loses her arm, yeah.
Yeah.
She does in the book and she does in the remake, but they don't.
Okay, so it was still set up for something that just didn't get put in this version.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's just, the remake's interesting because Mattie is a younger actress, good actress, does it well.
Right?
Say again?
It's Haley Steinfeld, right?
I can't remember who it was, but she was very good. And I quite liked it as a film, but this one's more fun. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
But it's more real, feels more realistic. The remake's more realistic to the West, it feels, That's the difference. But I've always enjoyed this film. It's one of my favourites outside the classic Westerns. I wouldn't rate it up there with like The Good, the Bad and the Ugly or The Searchers. If you want to do another John Wayne one, it's The Searchers. But it is a very fun and different Western. It's really interesting to see a female character as a lead in a Western, and she's so different from any other female character I've ever seen in a Western as well, and I quite like it. So yeah, solid film. Any last thoughts?
None that I can think of.
Okay, let's get to rating. Well, how would you rate this?
I'd rate this using 8 or maybe even a 9, I've got to be honest.
Yeah, I'd give it an 8. I'll give it an 8. Though it's a very joyful film, I'll happily watch it any time, and also it's a lot quite wordy, but it's never boring, is it? It's never boring. It's because I think the dialogue's lifted quite from the book, and the book's just really good. And I think that's what it is. So there's some interesting stuff going on, and it looked lovely as well. Quite impressed with how it looked, and it's kind of funny that John Wayne won an Oscar for this one, and all the other films has been. He's not a great actor. He's John Wayne, really, but he was putting in something that we don't usually. He's kind of rough, and his grumpy old man thing was acted somewhat. I think. Though what you said about him and Dennis Hopper, I'm not sure actually.
Yeah, apparently John Wayne's kind of a shit heel.
Okay. So. Yes. Oh, yes. I don't disagree with that. There's some real clunkers in his back catalogue. If you look at Genghis Khan.
Mean just there's that, but then there's also just general off-screen behaviour.
Yeah. That's fair. Kim Darby was pretty good as Mattie, I think. She hasn't had much of a career. The last thing I remember seeing her in was an 80s comedy, which was pretty good, called, I think, Better Off Dead.
Okay.
She played a mum of John Cusack. In that. But yeah.
Apparently she was in one of the Halloween films.
I don't remember that at all. Do you know?
The Curse of Michael Myers.
Okay. I've seen that film, but I don't remember her in it. Okay, cool. All right. The only other thing I remember him being quite good was a Henry Winkler film with his own, where he played a wrestler called The One and Only in the Depression. And that was kind of a fun little film, and she was his wife in that. That was quite good. And it was mostly a two-hander film too, so she was a significant role in that. Okay, all right then. So next time it'll be your choice on the Daisy Daisy. Next time we do a Daisy Daisy, and also the next time, I don't know, Easter's coming out, so we might give a week a miss.
Yeah.
But we'll see how we go. Otherwise, it'll be it might be a comfy chair if we get into April. All right. All right, then. Let's wind it out there. So, bye from me.
Bye.